Hello and welcome to the Luxury Lounge. That's right, every Thursday we head in the lounge, we shut the door, and we air our grievances with the world. And there's no grievance that's too big or too small or too frivolous. It's your grievance, so it's valid. And every week we are here, so I want you to keep sending your Luxury Lounge complaints to JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. That's JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. We got Shelby. He's reading all your emails. Make them, the key to getting on to Luxury Lounge, to getting your complaint read, is specificity. That's right. That's a 3-word word. Specificity. There should be there's got to be a fun song. I feel like there would be a fun R&B song with specificity. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of a song and I'm not remembering the song.
It's more of like a Hamilton thing.
Right.
That would be a little square.
Wait, what?
Little squarish, specificity.
Right. It would be in
the specificity of the revolutionaries fighting in the.
Yeah, that's where it would be in like a. What is the with the
pussy rap?
Pussy rap?
Hamilton. I don't know.
Yeah, wuss rap.
Is that what it's called?
I guess so, right.
Like shocked, like pussy rap.
Well, no, I thought, pussy rap could go both ways.
All your fans are young, I've lost everyone now.
I don't think you've lost anyone.
Really? I feel like your fans are a lot of young women who've seen Hamilton 500 times.
Yeah, sure.
I love Hamilton.
But that's why you can make fun of Hamilton.
Right,
It's the most successful, one of the most successful plays of all time.
Yeah, I love it, yeah.
But pussy rap could be you're a wuss.
Yeah.
Wussy rap, or it's rap that entices the pussy.
Oh, yes.
Makes you wet.
Yes.
Like if I was with a woman and she came over and I went, let's put on some pussy rap, she'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah.
I meant the first one.
Yeah, I know. Now well, it would be like, what is conjunction? Junction. What's your function? What are those
Schoolhouse Rock video?
Schoolhouse Rock.
That gets you wet. That's pussy rap. That gets you wet. No, I got it wrong.
Go pussy.
But that would have the specificity. Well, Schoolhouse Rock is... Hamilton is basically like a really good Schoolhouse Rock video.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. That's why I thought that.
How a bill is born.
Right. It's we're learning and we're having fun. Right?
He basically put Wikipedia into a rhyming machine.
That's it.
But it's great,
A genius. Listen, let me bring on today's guest. First time in the lounge. First time on the JTrain podcast. Ranaan Hershberg. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, it's an honor to be here. I appreciate it. I sat down and you were like, on this podcast we do like complaints. But as a Jew, I'd already complained 4 times.
You had already complained while walking into the door. Yeah,
I had complained.
I was like, he'll be pretty good for the lounge.
You did not have to.
He complained before the lounge door shut, and that's the whole thing about the lounge is we encourage complaining because. The world has horrors. The Luxury Lounge is an acknowledgement that there's horrible things in the world, but you can still have problems.
See, you're a true Jew. The way to figure out a Jew, I've always said this, not the circumcision, it's how you say horror and horrible. Jews say horrible.
Horrible.
And, Gentiles go horrible. You know what I mean? So, I always say you could find Jews in Nazi Germany by if they're hiding, just by making them say horrible. Say horrible. I don't want to say horrible. Horrible! Onto the trains.
Get in there.
I don't want to go onto the trains. They're horrible.
Right. There's no AC.
Yeah, I don't know if you said horrible, but you said it with that Jewish
with
horror.
It had the vibe.
Horrible. You know what it is? It's almost like Jews are so over dramatic and complaining.
Oh my God.
That when they say horrible, for them it's horror.
The
horror.
Well, I tell the story all the time. My grandmother came to my graduation at Penn State. She was getting we were at this bagel place, of course.
Yeah, of course.
We're at Irving's, which is like a breakfast kind of counter place. So it has 5 counters: place for the bagel, place for your chips, place to pay. So there's no real one line.
Yeah.
And my grandmother, we're all at graduation. We're getting the breakfast before we go to whatever the event is. My grandmother couldn't believe just the structure of this place.
Yeah.
Just couldn't figure out, where do I go to order my fucking bagel?
Yeah.
And she walks into the middle, and my family's watching. She walks in the middle of the Irvings and goes, "This is a disaster." And it's like, that is the type of energy that you bring to, we are at a bagel shop at your grandson's graduation. Anything that weekend short of death should not be called a disaster. disaster. And she's like, this is a disaster.
And I was in Auschwitz.
Right. We thought that was bad.
The mealtime was way more organized than this.
Right.
It was just slop, but there was one counter.
Listen, everyone go follow Ranaan. Everyone go follow Ranaan at Ranaan Comedy on Instagram. He has a special.
Yes.
We do this, this podcast is comedians go on this podcast, but this isn't like a stand-up comedy inside baseball podcast. So I do feel the need to explain these things. People come on this show to sell their wares. This is the Turkish bazaar of places. Ranaan wants you to watch his special. I want you to watch his special. He's fantastically funny. If you like this show, you'll love Ranaan. So you're going to go at Ranaan Comedy. Go follow him on Instagram, and then the special's coming out a week from today.
Yeah, September 14th on YouTube.
This is the thing, and this is I'm interrupting you because when someone says on YouTube, I don't want anyone saying YouTube. No, YouTube. This is an entrepreneurial endeavor. Ranaan has invested time, money, and his work and all his efforts into a platform where you're kind of hoping for the best.
And it's more selective than people think. There's been a lot of times that people posted videos of murdering someone.
Right.
And they'll take it off after a couple of years,
right.
Right. So like it's, I think now even, so I mean, it's not Netflix, but it's a little selective. Now I'm pretty sure you can't even upload a snuff porn without it.
There you go. So not everyone gets on there.
Yeah, not everyone gets on there. And it's blown up a lot of careers. A lot of head ISIS people have like gotten their fame through it.
The guy who chops heads off. That guy.
I am in that. I am competing with that guy.
That's who you're competing. Cat videos.
Like, I hope this guy doesn't behead someone when my special comes out.
Yeah, like it is you and all the craze. That's the thing. But YouTube, there is a hope and a dream that you're gonna catch on to. Father algorithm will look positively on you.
It is so accessible that in a way, after Netflix, I mean, maybe it's all just self-deception, or how convenient that the thing I'm on that has is the right thing. But like after Netflix, I think it's probably the best. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think it's the best.
No, not the best.
Because of the way money works.
Yeah.
Someone didn't.
They're not paying.
You're taking the risk.
Yes.
This is what I'm trying to impart to the listeners. There has been risk taken, and that should be acknowledged.
Yeah,
because
I spent most of my money.
Right.
Yeah.
You spent money, and the hope is, and the thing is, we deal in comedy and podcasts in this world. We deal in different currencies than maybe you do. Your currency might be dollars and cents. That's it. That's all you do.
We're exposure, baby.
We are all about, Ranaan is putting up his special on YouTube so that he finds more people to come see his next special.
Yeah.
That is really what it is, and to sell tickets, and money will come. That is, and it's like this trickle-down economy that you have to trust in this Republican dream that used to exist. So I understand. So what I'm telling you, this is a big, fat, long-winded way of saying to you, follow Ranaan on Instagram. Follow his YouTube page. You're gonna have a special that you can watch on a date night. You're gonna have a fun time with it. You're gonna love it. You got my my stamp of approval. Look, I'm hitting the gavel.
Beautiful. I really appreciate you doing it up top and stuff.
Of course. Well, this is the thing. Comics are so. I plug.
Yeah.
You're in Plug City.
Yeah.
No, I plug.
No, you were no. The only reason Ranaan is here.
You have to. No, but this is the thing people don't
We're
do.
We're not friends.
No, you message me. I want to come on. I got a special, please. I'm like, yeah, of course. I don't understand why we don't acknowledge these things.
You're like a commercial, and someone's like, "Have you tried Diet Coke?" You're like, "Yeah, you're only doing this because you're getting paid."
Right.
And you're like, "Oh yeah,
yeah." These are paid actors. It says underneath.
But I also wanted to. I would love to come on your podcast.
Of course, we're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the emails.
But I appreciate the. It's just funny now that plugs nowadays are like the plugs nowadays. This is a special. And here's why it's not as embarrassing as it sounds.
Well, please, just go watch.
Here's why it's not.
I don't like when you go. I don't like
now.
when you go on a podcast and you're like, are we all imagining? Not, I want people to, because I don't pay people to come on. That's the other thing. Like you're coming on and giving.
But
that's the thing. We want people to, someone is listening.
Yeah.
And they're having a great time with this show. everything we did in the beginning about Schoolhouse Rock, like the Schoolhouse Rock being Hamilton, like that is a jewel. Like,
yes.
you know, like that is a fun moment that everyone got experience. And you go, okay.
And I love that. Yes. And I love that we're doing up top, because usually I go on podcast to promote my special, and it's like an hour of me sucking some black dildo on there and then playing.
What podcast are you going on?
And then playing weird games, and then saying 12 cancelable things, and then another 4 hours, and then at the end they're like, any other special?
And he's got a special.
Yeah.
Like,
no one's been watching my life.
Listen, everyone go follow Ranaan. Let's get to our complaints. We're in the luxury lounge. The complaints this week. People. You're doing a great job. The complaints this week, Shelby sends them to me before, and I was reading them going, and I'm literally... sometimes I read them and I go, this one I was going, and another thing. Like I was like so enraged. I think we're going to have a good one today. Everyone go, let's get to the lounge. I'm going to do my complaint. Hit the music. Jared, he has some problems. Jared, he's got some issues to do. Get off his chest right now. Jared has a lot of issues. Jared has a issue with a lot of things that we can discuss. Can you relate to the problem now? Okay, my complaint.
First of all, it would have been so funny if that just went on for like 45 minutes.
I mean, it's pretty long already.
Yeah, I just started laughing in my head.
That's the whole podcast.
It'd be so funny if it just wouldn't stop.
Plugs at the top, and then just 45 minutes of music.
Great social experiment. Just be on the podcast and have the song just like keep on going. People are like,
and another thing.
And you're just mouthing your lyrics, and I'm just sitting here like, it just goes on for 45
It'd be like a Zach Galifianakis in between two ferns type of moment. My complaint is about Ranaan. I can't stand Ranaan or Ranaan.
Yes.
When someone has a name that is not easily pronounced, or not familiar to me. Yeah. I shouldn't say it. I should say.
You're already worried.
Right.
It's easy to pronounce in Israel. You think Israel is different?
Well, I asked you when you came in. I know your name. Yeah. I know you're Ranaan, but I'm about to do a podcast with you where I'm going to say your name upwards of 100 times. So I always say, how do you say it? Just say it to me. And you go either way. And I'm like, dude, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. And this happens all the time. Oh, I don't care. And then I said to you, what does your mom call you? Yeah. That is the one. Your mom named you.
I have the same conversation with this girl I'm dating. She's like, she doesn't know what to call me. And she's like, what does your mom say? It's like the same conversation. Right. And I don't know. It
is annoying.
Yes. There is a part of me that's like, I like that it's upsetting people, but like, I like that it's like making people, but the problem is I'm not the annoying one. The annoying one is the people who are like, you better say my name right, or I'll fucking cancel you.
This is the problem. Yeah. It is funny to me that like we are in there was a world that existed that I grew up in, and now there's the world now.
Yes.
And the world I grew up in was Ranaan, and I would just say it, and
not worry about it.
And I'm not worried about it. And now the world I exist in now, I've seen a YouTube video where Ranaan, someone with a name that is mispronounced, does a 10-minute TED Talk about how their life was ruined by all these white people that just didn't care enough. And it's like, I would have cared if you corrected me. I'd try again.
In a way, you have all these abusive people in your life who got mad, and then I'm the opposite, but you're so internalized.
Right.
I'm like, it's like you had a bunch of abusive stepdads.
I'm a dog that's been beaten, and now I'm flinching.
I come in, I'm like, I'm a nice stepdad. I'm like, I don't mind. You're like, no, hit me. I don't know what to do. Like, you're like, I'm like, I don't care. I'm not trying to cancel you. I really, it could go either way because it's a Hebrew name. And you have to have that
guttural.
And without the guttural thing, technically it's spelled Raanan, but here's the boring reason. Ranaan, I guess, is if you look it on the page. There is no... Two A's doesn't have a thing in English. It's not aardvark.
Right.
It's aardvark.
So Ranaan would make sense in an English dialect.
In English dialect, I think Ranaan is probably more... It's definitely more easier to say.
Right.
It's hard to go, you know?
And the thing is, it's this extra thought in your brain. Because, I'm a quick talking asshole.
Yeah.
So it's like... And I mean that in a lovable way. When someone's like, if you're, and this is like a Northeast thing. So if
I like
you're
how
just
you called yourself lovable.
Right. I think I'm an asshole. I'm a lovable asshole.
You're supposed to let other people say that about
my intent is never.
Asshole's a heart of gold.
Right.
You got to let other people say.
Listen, I've written my own dating app profile before. You got to blow these things up.
Like, I'm the life of the party, man.
Right. I hate when people explain themselves. I hate when, but now it's like okay to explain yourself. This whole thing of like, I'm an introvert, extrovert, and you go, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Sure.
Well, that's every horoscope. You're introverted, extroverted. So, you like to be alone, but also be with people.
How did you know? Holy shit. There are times I like to be around people.
Oh, I'm losing your fan base again. The horoscopes. They're probably really into horoscopes, right? Women?
No, I think the horoscopes thing has gone down the river of like, we get that we are.
It's just fun.
Known as crazies.
Yeah, it's just fun.
And I like it.
Yeah. Are you into it?
Oh, no, I'm saying like people who like it, I think there's an acknowledgement of like you're a punchline of a certain kind.
They get it. It's just fun.
And if they don't get it, you're like, you are out of your fucking mind.
Right. Yeah.
You've not listened to anything.
There's no way you like... Like if someone born in June does not have the same personality, like that's not but also very disprovable.
But also, if someone was like, "I love horoscopes," and you're like, "Oh, you're one of those," and they're like, "What do you mean?" You're like,
right.
Do you you're not existing in society right now? We've made fun of you for like years. What are you talking about? So. That's my complaint. Ranaan and people of his ilk. You people. Okay.
Then weird namers, yeah.
It's not even, they're not weird. That's the thing. That's where they get mad. I'm not saying your name's weird. I'm saying, give me some direction. Like this happens in football all the time.
I refuse. I refuse.
That is not my responsibility.
Give you direction. It's whatever you feel in your heart. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a fun answer. That's a fun person. That's an empathetic person where you go, oh, okay, Ranaan, done.
Well, I tell my girlfriend, she's like, I don't know what to call you. I'm like, you're not going to be saying my name that much. You don't really, when you know someone really well, you don't really say their name that much. Think about your best friend. How much do you say their name?
No, to other people.
To other people. Yeah,
well, now you're the PR agent.
They're not around, so you can fuck it up. It
doesn't matter.
Yeah, just call me Fat Jew when you're around. You know what I mean?
Don't tell it. I don't say it around you. Let's go to Ranaan's complaint. Hit the music. Hold on.
It's the guest's turn to complain. They're ready to jump in.
Ranaan was ready to jump in. He almost went.
They've got lots of problems too. It ain't all about Jared. Let's hear their complaint of the day. Let's hear their complaint of the day. They're invited.
This is the longest.
On the show.
They're both just a little too long.
A little too long. My dad hates these. Hates them.
It's like, well, you're Jewish.
Yeah.
It's like, there's that Passover, a couple songs, or a couple of Hebrew songs, like you pray, where like, it's just like a little too long.
Right.
Like, you're like, oh, it should have ended right, like Shechi, at the end of the Passover Seder, there's a couple of them are like, that should have ended right there.
End of the Passover Seder is the longest moment of your life.
Doesn't it feel like that's just fucking with you? The one, what's it called? Had Gadya?
See,
because they just repeat
how
it
Jewish
over and
are
over
you?
and over again.
You grew up very religious?
I grew up conservative, so like.
But conservative because you're from Kentucky.
Yes.
Conservative in Kentucky, I would say, is more conservative than conservative in Boston. Because I went to a conservative temple.
Yeah.
And my mom is from Michigan. Mm-hmm. And I think in these areas where there's not as many Jews, people pack together and kind of lean on the religion to stay as a group. I have because I remember in Detroit, they're conservative temple, but their Passover Seders were 8 hours long, and they knew more than me.
That might be. I mean, there's still a lot of like within the conservative. If you're raised conservative, there's still like everyone kind of is a little different. But I'd say what made it a little harder is we didn't eat meat out. So
you kept kosher.
Yeah, we kept kosher, and there's no kosher restaurants.
Oh, that's
so
brutal.
In a way it was a little harder. These fucking Chassids over here, they can still go to like a kosher restaurant in fucking Yiddish.
Have you ever been
Brooklyn.
To the high end kosher restaurants here in New York?
Not yet, no.
I went to one.
I don't follow it anymore.
The most overpriced. I dated a girl who was kosher.
The minute you say kosher, it's overpriced.
Because it's an add-on.
Well, that doesn't do anything to the taste. Yeah, that's just like made up. Yeah. I mean, not made up. I mean, the thing about kosher is like, and I
there's a preparation.
Preparation, and the thing is, and this might be true for a lot of religious things, it was humane at one time.
I think that was the one takeaway from Israel when I went. You go on birthright.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, all of this made sense at a certain point. Like,
yes,
like
practical sense.
like washing your hands. Like there was a prayer over washing your hands. You're like, oh, you're making people.
And we had to tell you it was like religious, so you'd fucking do it. You know, you can't. Now we have signs, so you can just say employees must wash their hands. But like back then, you couldn't tell those animals just to wash their hands.
No.
But with kosher, like you have to slit an animal's throat with a shechita knife.
Okay.
Which is a very sharp knife, and the idea was that they would die quickly.
Okay.
Because it was such a sharp knife. But now that doesn't seem probably eating animals is probably not humane on any level.
Well,
but now and I eat animals. I'm just
right.
You know.
But you look at those like a documentary where you see the chicken coop and you go, oh fuck.
Yeah, but definitely slitting an animal's throat is not the most painless way now. You know what I mean?
How would of the options though? Like a rock, I'm sure back then.
Yeah, back then it was the most humane.
Right.
But now, I mean, I feel like.
Well, now it's like it's like forced.
Javier Bardem, No Country thing's more painless.
I don't know the reference.
No Country for Old Men?
I might have seen the movie, but
he kills people with a cow gun, but it's like a little thing that like puts their.
I didn't know that was I've seen the movie, and I didn't know what that gun was.
Yeah, because it just pushes something in your head and then brings it back out, so there's no bullet.
Wow. Well, we've gone down a weird path. What's your complaint?
Oh, what's my complaint? Well, I mean, I complained about my back. Did that count?
Yeah, you didn't do it on camera. I mean, do it on the.
Just imagine it. I did it before we could.
Right.
Well, you know, funny. I don't know if this is a complaint. You might be more annoyed by this,
Please.
but I wasn't annoyed by it, but I was at Village Underground upstairs yesterday, and a bunch of people coming out of one of the shows. And they were saying, great job to me, but I hadn't gone on.
Oh, they thought it was me.
I was like, who was on the lineup? And then I was like, oh, it's Jared.
Well, that's the thing. You and I look a lot alike just by the nature. Jewish.
Yes.
Russian
Loud.
Jew, Polish Jew,
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
That
Polish.
background, Polish. I have Polish.
Yeah.
Also, so I think some people
We
just
both can, I mean, you look great, but we both can never be fucking skinny.
No, we're both, barrel chested.
Yeah, which I'm unhappy with myself.
I mean, I think we all are unhappy with ourselves. Anyone who's happy with themselves, I couldn't connect with on any level.
Right. But yeah.
But I think, we will get comments on the videos that we put out for this episode about us looking alike.
Yeah.
And that will annoy me. I think,
but that's an insult to me.
I don't think it's an insult to you. I think getting told you look like anybody is, I don't think you're ever happy with that.
No. Well, you don't want to be told you're not unique.
Right.
You don't want to be like, hey, there's someone, you know what I mean?
And I have people send me lookalikes every day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and my response, because I know I'm being sensitive.
Yeah.
Saying, again, you're not unique. That's the reason you're going down a negative road. When they're just going, no, look, this is kind of, and I do understand that impulse to go, lookalike.
Right. And then if they tell you, though, you look so much like my cousin or something, you're like, I want to see this picture. I want to see how ugly this person is.
I want to see where you have put me on the spectrum.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Because you do, it's like when someone fixes you up.
Yeah.
And you get to see who they thought.
I know.
And you go, oh.
That's where you think I'm at.
I'm a 6.
Yeah. But I've learned, I struggle with weight and stuff, but I learned that, like, so much of my shame is based on pictures,
Absolutely.
And I feel like everyone has a certain amount of, there is overweight, but there is also really what we're really talking about is fat angles. And everyone has a certain amount of fat angles. And the more overweight you are, the more you struggle with it, the more fat angles you have. Like, I have 46 fat angles, but I have a couple fit angles.
No, I agree with you completely. And I think it's expectation versus result.
Yeah.
Because when you went out, like I have gone out, I've looked at myself in the mirror and been like, wow, having a good day.
You always look fit if you look up close in the mirror, though. For some
up close in the mirror, or you found an angle.
Yeah.
In your mind's eye, you felt like you looked good. And then a picture comes back from that night, and you're like,
I want to kill myself.
How did that happen?
Because it captured a fat angle you weren't
prepared for.
You weren't prepared for. So it's like,
and we get them more than anything because we're on stage, and then we have these photographers that are like, "Oh, let me get you from down here," and you're like, "Why did you think I wanted that?"
I know.
Is this what you see?
I know. I
just had this. The Chosen Comedy Festival. I did this fucking comedy festival. It is as if the camera person was beneath me on the stage underneath me.
And then I know. And then if you headline a club on the road, you'll send them a good headshot or
right.
an angle, and they will literally just search for a picture of you fat, passed out in a bathroom in a dorm room, and just post it on the fucking there's it's. But I also find this thing where when I look at a picture right away, after it's taken, I'm like, I'm disgusting. Every woman who's fucked me, I should be like just so grateful. It's just like pure martyrdom. But then if you give it some time, like a year, I look back at that picture, I'm like, man, I never knew what I had.
Well,
like it's always like it's like I would jack off to this picture right now. It's so hot. You know what I mean?
That's the worst part about the whole thing is like, if I was unhappy then, and now I look back and I go, wow, you had it all.
I know.
You're like, and how am I? And it's like, then you're like, will I ever be happy?
No, I won't, because I was very thin at one point.
What do you eat? What is it? What is it?
I'm on now I'm on a diet, but what
do you drink?
No.
You're not even drinking?
I know.
See, that's the thing I have on my side is I'm like, if I just got rid of drinking, I lose 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Like I have that thought in my head.
I just love it. You didn't need to, but it was such a great part. Like, wait a minute, you look like that and you're not drinking?
Well, I'm saying,
I don't understand.
What's the one thing?
What's the reason?
Everyone who has weight issues.
What's the reason you look like this?
Right. I do that to myself. I look in the mirror and I go, what's the one thing I have that I knew if I just had...
Eating at night.
I'm eating at night too.
Eating at night, but I mean, what am I supposed to do? Like, go to sleep lonely?
Go to bed.
Yeah, no, I can't. You gotta fill the void. If I fuck,
well, some people,
I can maybe go to sleep because I feel like the void's been filled a little.
I believe that there's either nighttime eaters or people who fuck. Like I do believe that. Like some people at the end of the night they go, I gotta find a woman.
Yes.
And some people at the end of the night are like, I gotta find
pizza. You're just filling a void.
Right.
You're just filling a void to make you feel a little like you were in the womb before you rehearsed for your death by going to sleep. So,
what a way to look at life.
You need one of the two things you got in the womb.
Right.
Being in a vagina.
You're very rabbinical. This is a very rabbinical way to look at the womb. Yeah, let's go to the complaints. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. We're here with Ranaan Hershberg. Listen, I think you're gonna have a great time with these complaints.
Okay, I'm excited.
Everyone go follow @Ranaan Comedy. Go, because the special's coming out in 1 week. We want to make sure you're there, you're ready for it. You're gonna see it on his Instagram stories, on his page. He's gonna be promoting it for months and months and months because he wants to fill the void that was left by the money he had to put into this fucking special. So go.
Childhood trauma.
Let's go. Dear Jared, feather, let's get into it. Also, I'm going to be on the road. If you're listening right now, jaredfreid.com. I got a show in Chicago tomorrow night. Please come. Chicago. I love Chicago. Buffalo, Royal Oak, Michigan, Albany, New York, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Timonium, Maryland, which is Baltimore, but a half hour away, Richmond, Virginia. jaredfreid.com for tickets. Bring the group chat. Come on. We got new material. We're out here. I work as a clerk for a federal judge. We're hired for 1 year terms before we go start at firms. I started last August. I have 3 co-clerks, and they are all women. Aside from our judge, we have an all-female office, the court reporter, courtroom deputy, judicial assistant, etc. This is like a sitcom.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
This weekend, I'm expected to spend my Saturday... Like, isn't that
You're
fun?
Like, all women? This is so absurd. It must be a sitcom. All women?
But it's got to be
this
weird.
This is like a fun little fantasy TV show.
Well, right? It's got to be weird to have, like, the old man judge, fuddy-duddy, doesn't know shit.
Yeah.
And then all these women. It's She-Hulk. This weekend, I'm expected to spend my Saturday afternoon bowling with my office as part of a rivalry with another judge's chamber. If that weren't bad enough, my co-clerks decided to make a weekend of it and do a slumber party on Friday night. I had initially declined to participate in the sleepover, but when the rest of the staff heard, our judicial assistant offered us her cabin in bumfuck Oklahoma, with the expectation that she and the rest of the staff would also be sleeping over, and my coworkers accepted it. I was out of town. Judge's wife is even coming. So now I'm spending my Friday night with 4 50-plus-year-old sober women in the middle of nowhere before I wake up to head to bowling with all of them too. Why was bowling not on a weekday? Why is this a sleepover? Why is a sleepover happening? Is all of this not weird, inappropriate, and just ridiculous? It's 2022. Workers have rights. I can't help but think this wouldn't happen if we had any male co-clerks sincerely not paid enough for a 6th day with the office. What do you think?
Well, she definitely took your specificity in the complaints.
Love
correct, because that was like, that's a first chapter of a novel.
Right. She got into it.
She was like, wow.
But I feel her rage.
Yeah, I have a little bit of auditory ADD sometimes.
Okay.
So like just
boil it down.
Boil it down a little.
She has to go to a slumber party with her coworkers
as a work thing, but it's at a bumfuck Ohio.
But any forced hanging out with people that you work with,
that's awful.
Is awful.
But they're all women, and they're hanging out at
this cabin,
yeah.
And then they're going to go bowling the next day.
Yeah, and she has to do it.
Because also you can't be the one miserable person in the office. The problem is, we have all had a lifetime to find friends.
Yeah.
And what these people do is they find a work event where people are forced into friendship activities to make up for the friends they never made in their whole lives.
Right. And then you're forced into that. Yeah, they're like, I mean, it's... All workplace social events are the most depressing thing in the world. I've always... maybe it's because I've always, when I used to work, I was still into comedy. So, like... I always never valued it like the way, because I do have comedy friends.
You had other things to do.
Yeah, but I would never hang out with like people at my work. Like
we do this. We are playing a part all day. It's our work. The face is doing, active listening. And, oh, my God, your kids look great.
Yeah.
And you want to go home and turn that the fuck off.
No, it's awful. The social gathering of a work thing, it's like that show Severance. It's just so...
I don't know the show, but...
It's just so depressing. I would, if I was her, I would...
find an excuse. I would say I have COVID.
Yeah, say you have COVID, just quit.
Run into the... Like, I would get to that cabin and someone would be like,
I would sue, and then you can have it in trial with that judge.
Right.
But sue for harassment.
Right, workplace something.
You shouldn't be forced to bowl.
No, the physical activity?
Yeah, I'd rather get slapped on the ass by a superior than be forced to bowl.
Right, now you're in this athletic competition with people. You're going to see how shitty I am at bowling.
Bowling sucks, because unless you're a professional, all bowling is the exact same. You play... You have a fluke in the beginning where you think you're really good. You're like, maybe I am good.
Maybe this is it.
And then you just slowly get worse and worse and
worse.
Well,
you get drunker and drunker.
So by the time by the last one, you're just doing fucking, it's just flying into the other person's thing. No, I think that bowling thing I think that's workplace harassment. And honestly, not since that triangle fire where the women were trapped in and they all died in the 30s. This is the worst.
That's the most specific, sad reference I've ever. I don't know the triangle.
It was that triangle. What was it called? It was like a factory with where they didn't have before all regulations come. Every regulation comes because
a tragedy.
Terrible, just so many people were. Right. Every regulation.
10-year-olds can't be in the workforce because a 10-year-old died on the shipping line or some shit.
But the fact that boats now have the lifeboats.
Okay.
That's just because everyone used to drown on the fucking
you have to feel the pain. You have to feel. We don't just make change for no reason.
Well, the idea also of lifeboats being a lifeboat for everyone on board, that was a more recent, in the Lusitania, they did not have enough lifeboats for people.
Well, that was that's the whole thing with the Titanic.
Yeah, exactly.
Is they're if anything, it was for show.
Yeah, exactly.
This looks nice. We don't want to put too many on here.
But so there was a thing with a factory where literally every door was locked and you couldn't get into any door. And it was just there was a guy keeping the door shut, and then there was a fire and just people.
No wonder you're eating at night. You have these sad knowledge moments.
That's fucked up. I would not go. Say you can always say you have COVID.
That's the best excuse.
And it's the nice thing about the pandemic never ending and ruining our lives is that you can keep on saying it.
Keep on saying forever. JTrain podcast.
A week later,
it's the
new one.
Right.
I got it again.
I got it again.
A different kind. BA 12, 14, go fuck yourself.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com, here with Ranaan Hershberg at Ranaan Comedy. Go follow. Luxury Lounge. Cleaning ladies won't leave. Jared Feather, longtime listener, self-proclaimed leader of the group chat. Love it. My complaint is that my cleaning ladies continue to hang out in my house once the cleaning is done, citing that they are waiting for their ride. This past week, for example, they spent an additional 3 hours in my house once they finished. Ate a fully packed they're bringing lunch. That's when you know they're just hanging out. The fully packed lunch at my kitchen counter. Now they're messing up they're making a mess.
I know. Yeah, but I think I'd have too much white guilt to kick them out. I'd be like,
I mean, this is my whole life.
Stay in my bed with me. I don't think I could like.
My whole life is tiptoeing around a cleaning woman that my parents have hired while I was home and feeling uncomfortable in my own home.
Yeah.
This is my whole life, just sneaking around a vacuum as it's going under my feet.
Definitely not white people problems.
No, not at all.
I feel like I'm in a rich debutante brunch. My God, my cleaning lady.
You're in the luxury lounge.
She never leaves. Me too.
Yeah, this would drive me crazy. Then came back inside to sit on my couch and FaceTime someone on their phone, full volume, no headphones. Yeah, they got to run the place. I understand not everyone has access to driving themselves, but as a business, is it unacceptable to leave your employees 3 hours in someone else's house after their work is done? I stay out of their way while they clean, and then I have to listen to them talking to their nephew on the phone with additional screaming babies and barking dogs in the background. I've offered to pay extra for Uber, and they will not accept. Sincerely, I just want to nap when they're done. Here's the thing. Offering the Uber is the move.
Yeah.
Hey, car's on its way. Got you guys. Yeah. And it's
I
also
already ordered it. It's here waiting.
It's here waiting.
That's the real move.
And it's also appropriate.
Yeah.
It's also like, I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
I understand. Listen, you can't get a ride. I'm taking on the brunt. When they say, I don't want the Uber, that's the point where you go, well, why are you here 3 hours? Well, you must want to be here.
The problem is, what do you say? It's hard to be like, I don't want you in my periphery anymore.
You have to get ahead. You have to say, when they get there, hey, out by blank, I have to close up shop. Like,
you have to mean for a house, though?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I have to go to an appointment. So I need everyone out of the house.
I guess the other issue is you'd have to say that every time.
Every time. I would do it every time. I mean, at this point, what other option does she have? The Uber is the option.
Yeah.
And they're refusing it.
And this is like every week, huh? Or...
They say every week. I mean, the minute you pull out a lunch, I don't like anyone pulling out a lunch in my domain. The smell is like 1,000 times worse than if it was my lunch.
Right. Of course,
So there's a smell associated. There's cleaning people just hanging. You want to be in your home. You want to enjoy the clean house.
Yeah. And she's taking out the lunch, which is making it unclean again.
Right.
Which gives her justification to stay longer.
Right.
Because she has to wait till it airs out. So now she's like, I got to be here another hour.
Got to make sure to freshen up.
Yeah, she has to throw away the foil so that she's keeping it. It's the old
foil.
It's the old lunch scam. Yeah,
it's horrible.
Horrible.
It's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I have too much, like, I would have guilt having a cleaning lady.
Right.
So I feel like I would be like, stay.
You live here now.
Yeah, you live here now. You can, just stay in my bed. I'll just go
I'll take care of the
Here's
nephew, the barking dog. I'll walk it. Football fans, the first Sunday of the NFL season is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving new customers an offer to celebrate the return of the NFL. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. As an added bonus for week 1, everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. Bet on an NFL team to win. If your team leads by 10 at any point during the game, you get paid instantly. That's unbelievable. Even if your team loses. Wow, people. The season's starting. I'm a big user. I love it. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code JTrain to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet this Sunday. That's code JTrain, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Fall is almost here, which means back to school, back to work, and back to being busy too. And it's, when you're busy, it's hard to eat nutritiously. Factor makes it easy to eat well for all meals and snacks. These fresh, never frozen meals that are delicious and nutritious are amazing. They got calorie smart and keto options. Factor meals are perfectly portioned to keep you on track with your goals. That's the big thing. I am an eater. I love good food. I love having food that's creative, and that's what Factor gives you, and it gives you the right portion. If you live alone or with your partner, it's hard to shop for 2 or 1. Factor is going to make it easy for you to have the right portions, which is half the battle, and they're going to be delicious. Factor now offers over 30 meals per week and 36 add-on options. When you eat healthy, you go, I'll do grilled steamed chicken and vegetables. No. Factor is going to give you some differentiation. Each Factor meal arrives pre-prepared by their team of chefs, ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes. Change your order up every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week, or pause or reschedule with your deliveries anytime. So pause, reschedule, change it. This is amazing. They offer vegan and veggie meals, keto meals, calorie smart options, cold pressed juices, smoothies, energy bites, extra protein, veggie sides, and more to keep you fueled and focused all day long. Head to go.factor75.com/JTrain130 and use code JTrain130 to get $130 off across 6 boxes. That's code JTrain130 at go.factor75.com/JTrain130 for $130 off. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com, JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Send it in. Title it Luxury Lounge. Let us know what you're talking about. Shelby's reading all the emails. Luxury Lounge, kids in hotel workout room.
Now this one, I'm going to
This is a bothersome one.
Yeah.
Dear Jared, love you and your entire crew. Thank you. Working out away from home is a bit wonky, but I travel and it's necessary. Sometimes hotels have a partnership with a real gym, and that's amazing. No kids or kids only in designated areas. Straight up hotel workout rooms are different. It's become a thing for parents to bring their kids with them to work out, they put in quotes. Dad gets on the elliptical, looks down at his phone, and pretends he doesn't know his own seed. Doesn't know his own seed.
Got biblical very
right,
quickly.
It was very weird. Meanwhile, I have to ask an 8-year-old armpit farting on the leg press if I can jump in. Even worse, I now have to complete leg presses with said 8-year-old standing there watching, waiting to get back in his seat. Thanks for listening. Keep up the great work. What do you think, Ranaan?
Well, I love that he also brought up, just to have details, just that sometimes they have another gym you could use.
Right. Right. Well,
like all these complaints are also sound like a letter from Shawshank Redemption. The time has been really nice here, and if you could only see this beautiful gym.
Dear Diary. This has a Dear Diary vibe.
The other gym is really beautiful.
Right.
But
listen,
back to the complaint.
as you and I are artists, we're in the game of self-editing.
Yeah.
You know, we understand that sometimes you're like, that part of it is a lot of fat. Yeah. There's a lot of fat on these.
But he's going to the gym, so hopefully not as much soon. And,
right.
Yeah, I hate fucking kids at the gym because I was at a gym recently and I was like on the elliptical, and this kid was like using the treadmill, and he was like 10.
Yeah.
And I was worried he was going to fall off.
Right.
And then I'd have to
save the day.
Walk away. Yeah.
Ignore this kid dying.
Save the day. But the fucking parent was gone. I'm like, and he's like, it makes me, it's mad when a parent's negligent.
Right.
And then I feel like I have to
be the parent.
Because it's like, you shouldn't be on a treadmill. That's dangerous.
This is all frustrating because kids have no feeling of time.
No.
Time is not precious to children. That's kind of the hard part about becoming an adult. Is you are weird about time.
Kids are all basically like Memento. They're just, you play a game with them and they're like, all right, let's play again. Let's play again.
Right.
Let's play again. You know?
And that's the thing where this person is saying, when you go to the gym, you want to get it over with.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to the gym. You want to have gone to the gym.
Yes, exactly.
That is the goal of every gym trip.
Yeah.
This kid, he doesn't give a shit. He's in there playing.
Well, it's also
playtime, so he doesn't care. And then also, the biggest part of this is you have to acknowledge that you have become the old crotchety man. You have to acknowledge and look in the mirror.
Your mortality.
Right. And you have to acknowledge that you're the guy. You never thought you'd be like, get these kids out of here. You're the guy on the Nickelodeon show, out of my yard.
True. I'm very much like that with kid at the gym and kids at the pool at the hotel.
Anytime I see a kid acting out, I go, get him out of here. Who's with these kids? I turn into that guy.
I'm never more pro-choice than when I'm at a hotel pool and there's so many kids in the water.
Right.
Because they're always so loud.
Splashing.
And then I go in the jacuzzi and they come in and they shouldn't even be allowed. I'm like, read the sign.
Right.
No kids, get out of here. I mean,
read the sign. That's the thing. None of us grew up hoping to become Read the Sign.
Well,
guy.
you know, back in the day, and I never understood this as a kid, there was Adult Swim. Do you remember that? Where
yes.
all the kids were like, get the fuck out of the water.
Right.
A couple adults are going to just go float
right.
and pretend they didn't have children or a miserable life. And it was like 30 minutes. And I used to hate it. Because we have to just stand
and watch.
Just sit there and be like, what the fuck? And now I'm like, ooh, man.
Now we live in a society where everyone calls their kid buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
I don't
know.
Hey,
buddy.
Do you think they do Adult Swim anymore? Because I'd be like, I'm so for Adult Swim.
I would assume room at like a country club.
Yeah.
This is something they've held on to.
Yeah, I think kids should be separated from adults at all times.
Right. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Ranaan Hershberg. Go follow at Ranaan Comedy. Go follow September 14th. That's the special. It's coming out. It's on YouTube. Here, the YouTube thing. Put it. I hate telling people I'm like stream it on your TV. I would never do that. I'm not technically savvy.
Yeah,
but people do that.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you have. If you have a Roku or something, you can watch it on the TV.
Put it on your TV.
Jokes from the Underground is what it's called.
Jokes from the Underground. Does the name of the special matter?
Well, I guess you don't think so.
I don't think so.
I guess I have a feeling from that reaction.
I mean, I was going to say it.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I'm trying to get people to it as quickly as possible.
You're the plug king. I should have questioned
the promo
it.
Prince.
You are the promo prince.
Luxury lounge.
Like, I've said this, your plug, about 40 times. You shut the fuck up.
I've cut the fat on it. I put it in the gym. Luxury lounge. Our dogs owed an apology. Dear Jared, Feather, love all your content. Come back to Indianapolis sometimes. I would love to. I'm writing this email very shaken up from an encounter with a neighbor. I was taking my hot girl walk when a dog charged me on the sidewalk. Mind you, I'm a dog person, but who wants to be charged by a large animal? I started yelling no to try and get him to back down, only to take out my headphones to the other owner yelling, "What the hell is wrong with you? He's just a puppy and just wants you to pet him." Excuse me? I told her I don't know her dog and was just charged. How am I supposed to know what the fuck he wants? She continued to yell at me, and when I told her I was owed an apology, she told me to keep walking, that I owed her dog an apology. That's an insane person. Her husband ended up coming out and apologizing and explained that she's pregnant. What? That is not an excuse. Oh, she's going through the pregnant brain?
The dog or the woman?
Everyone's pregnant.
The dog pregnant.
I'll be dropping off a leash whenever they have their baby shower. Sincerely, won't you be my neighbor? I'm on this person's side 1,000%.
I would. I need a couple things. I would need a picture of the dog and a picture of her to see if it's truly a hot girl walk.
Okay. Let's see how hot this walk is.
A little cocky description.
Sounds beautiful to me.
What, I got to say schlubby Jew walk now?
Yes, you do.
We're describing our walks?
Right.
I didn't know we're objectifying our walks now.
I take a stud strut.
I was on a fat Jew walk the other day. And, it's tough. I mean, I know you told me we gotta
you don't have to. What's your problem with her?
I just sometimes you gotta say these are personal things, so they're telling you through their filter. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And
but if a dog ran up to you and you went, "Whoa, no, get away," and they go, "Hey," they're just trying to be pet by you. Like you would say, "Oh, you're right. I'm sorry, Mr. Dog." To me,
I can't imagine not petting a dog that charges towards me.
I had this happen to me the other day.
Really?
I was so angry.
But it matters about the dog.
I don't think so. Here's the thing.
No,
anything sneaking up on you is scary.
Yeah. But I mean, if we find out this is like a fucking...
a little chihuahua.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. What I have found is that, and we get tons of dog complaints. And I'm like, why do we get...
That's weird.
Well, that's the thing. Why do we get so many dog complaints? I feel as though crazy people have bought dogs to cover up their own crazy.
Right.
Like, and they use the dog to really
Brilliant point.
ward off anyone blaming them for being a despicable person.
That was like that woman who went on that racist rant.
Right.
She had the dog off the leash, right?
Right.
So she was
in
like,
the park. She was in Central Park.
Get a black guy or Mexican to get mad at me for this.
Right. I got the dog in the way.
Yeah.
Right. It's the dog.
That's a good point. So the dog's charging her. We don't know the dog, but that's fine. And she just says no.
And she said, I'm walking. I start yelling no to try and get him to back down. So it's like you're being charged by an animal.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this person, and then the person goes,
I'm on her side.
It's a puppy. And it's like, yeah, your puppy isn't trained. This is a trainable moment. This is when you sit your puppy down and you go, no, you do whatever Oscar, the dog whisperer would do.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And it definitely seems, now that I've thought about it, it definitely seems that the owner was mad because they thought she hurt the dog's feelings.
Right.
Which is
it's
crazy.
An insane person.
Which is insane.
Well,
yeah.
They said there's
she
a
seems
lot
like
of,
she'd get mad if you misgendered her dog.
Right.
Like dogs.
It's a he.
Yeah, like dogs care.
Right. The dog would go home and be like, oh my God.
I just keep on, just
dealing with my gender identity and this person triggered me.
Yeah, it seems like she didn't like it. She wants a kid, this woman, and with kids, she'd be one of those annoying parents who's like, don't say no. We don't say no.
We don't say no. Yeah.
But she's doing it to this fucking
public.
Yeah, she's doing this fucking dog.
I think, there's a lot about gun control right now in the news. I think we need dog owner control. I think everyone has to have a mental stability test to get an animal. And we should say you are like if you're a 25-year-old person who's like, I need a dog. It's like, no, you want a boyfriend.
Yes.
This is you're buying something that will kiss you no matter what type of asshole you are.
Of course. And you can tell like the little dogs that are really spazzy.
Yeah.
The reason they're spazzy is because people got those little dogs and treated them like a cat, where they wouldn't like let them like walk them. If a little dog gets exercise, he won't be spazzy. But these people go, well, it's a little dog. I'll just keep him.
I don't have to do anything.
I'll just keep him in the room all day. It's a lot of space.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Luxury Lounge, sharing the community grill.
You look at me like I gotta already have it. What do you think?
Yin?
I got it.
Papa JT, excited to see you in D.C. I live in an apartment complex that has a rooftop with a community grill. Recently, I had my family over for a barbecue and the space was taken. Obviously, these people got there first, but they seemed in no rush to share the lone grill. Instead, I had to ride the elevator multiple times from 3rd to rooftop, 7th floor, to grill my burgers and then up where we were eating. It's a weird sentence. They had to get on the elevator to grill downstairs to bring the rooftop
up to where
they are. Shouldn't there be a time limit on how long one can occupy a grill? A sign-up sheet or something would be nice. Thanks for letting me vent. From a fellow Jew.
Oh, okay.
What do you think
of
if
it's a fellow Jew, then I support it 100%.
Right. They said this is horrible.
How long was it there on the community grill?
Well, that's the thing. Is the community grill? I've lived in these buildings before, and it's a rooftop situation where you are sold on part of your life will be on this roof, and part of your life you'll be grilling and looking at the city skyline.
You're not like
right
in New York,
right?
Like suburbs.
You get to live. You get it all.
Yeah.
And what you find out very quickly is that this grill is being used at all hours of the day. Everyone has figured out how to occupy this grill. And then when people get it, it's like when you get the toilet.
Yeah.
I'm on Wordle. I'm on Instagram. They fucking know time doesn't exist. And this happens with the laundry room. Yes. I have brought this up before with community laundry room. You need a timer. We need to have a timer just clicking away.
Yeah.
We need to keep people on the clock, and you need to time down. You get an hour on the grill.
Yeah.
An hour is more than enough time. You're not making, a brisket. You're cooking some dogs, and you're making some sausages.
What was the time for this? I missed it.
But I'm saying if two people, they just said that they wouldn't even.
I need this information to judge. I need I don't know if that was a hot girl. I don't know if it was objectively a hot girl walk. I don't know.
Please send your pictures with your complaints so we can see if they're valid or not.
I don't know if it was a fucking Rottweiler or a fucking Dachshund that she was like, get away. I don't know how long was the community grill for.
I think you have to say, hey, if you see someone, if you're on the grill and it's a community grill, this isn't the grill in your backyard.
Right.
If someone walks up with the tins full of, all the burgers and the hot dogs they want to make, and they're with their 2 old fuck parents in the back from the Midwest that are there to visit, you look at them in the eye and you go, hey, we can move our thing to the left side of the grill. You take the right side of the grill. And my blame on this person is to say, you have to go up to. This is the problem. We live in a society. We're all on our phones. You're numb to any social interaction. This is the point where you need social interaction. You have to go up to them and go, hey, I got my parents here.
Are you saying
this is when you have to be a salesperson?
Are you saying not confronting the issue, but instead just complaining on a podcast?
Right.
It's not the psychologically healthy thing to say. Are you saying a therapist would be like, I've heard your complaint. I think the healthy thing to do is message Jared Freid.
Jared Freid. He's gonna.
Are you saying open communication with the person?
Well, this is the world we live in where we're eradicating charm. So none of us have the ability to charm people.
That's true.
This is a charm moment.
And everything you'll worry because everything's video. So I think people are afraid to talk to strangers. You know what I mean? You're like,
right.
Takes
out the phone right away.
A slur just comes out of your mouth, and then you're fucking canceled. You know? Can I? Yeah. You're like, hey, do you think we can share the grill? This white supremacist wants to share the grill. He's already taken enough from us,
right?
And now he's wanting to share. Then you just happen to have an asshole face,
right? You just look like a white supremacist.
So that's just fucking rude. It's scary to fucking.
You went with the Stone Cold Steve Austin bald head look, and you're like, I just like how I look.
Yeah, exactly. When strangers talk to me, I'm like, no.
What's gonna happen?
It's bizarre. Like, yeah, but I do agree. I think you'd be like, move the grill a little. You know, I think you need to create a more family atmosphere at the apartment building. If you got a fucking grill,
this is the other part.
It's not a porta potty,
but I wouldn't want to be on the roof with anyone else, and that's the problem. Is you forget in New York City when they show you an apartment, you go, yeah, I'm gonna be up here making some corn, and then you go, and then you realize that you're not that special. You're not unique. You know, you go on the days I want to grill. Every fucking other person in this apartment wants to grill.
And it's kind of similar, if there's a through line to these complaints, it's actually very similar to the gym one and the pool one that I brought up, which is that you go there and you just get so excited by the idea that this communal thing is empty, because then it's all yours.
Right.
And then when someone else is there, it's funny because you really have anger towards them.
Totally.
And they've done nothing wrong.
No.
And yet you hope bad things happen to them simply because they're at the pool when you are.
When you wanted to go to the pool.
Yeah, I fantasize kids dying. That's just because I wanted
we got that on tape. That's going to be a new GIF.
Well, not fantasize. Well, yeah, fantasize. But, just to have the jacuzzi alone.
Right. JTrain podcast at gmail.com, JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Ranaan Hershberg. Go follow at Ranaan Comedy Luxury Lounge. I go to Stanford. Other people lie about it on LinkedIn. You've recently been saying complaints should be very specific, so here's my real complaint. I am away on summer research in a foreign country, not my country of origin and not the United States. One day, while stranded at a shopping center, I met a guy who helped me out. He told me his first name and some details about where he works. We had not exchanged contacts, but I wanted to stay in touch, so I looked him up online later and found his LinkedIn profile. Can you imagine how excited I was when his profile said Stanford University? A closer look revealed that he is in fact a fraud. He actually did a random overnight joint certificate with the business school and some agency or something. A certificate. What the hell? Why are people like this? I saw a guy once whose profile read Dartmouth, Harvard, Yale, but he had just collected online certificates, like a 6-week thing. Some of us actually go there and have real complaints about how beautiful it is, or how we get paid for 6 years of painful painful doctoral study while we postpone being in the quote-unquote real world. I'm a millennial, LOL. We are even embarrassed to be asked, so what do you do and where do you go to school, because of all the bags that comes with it. But some entrepreneurial certificate collecting douchebags make the loudest noise about places they've never actually set foot in. Unbelievable. It's okay to not go to Stanford. Actually, it's better to not go to Stanford. Trust me. This is a lot of hate for Stanford, which I disagree with.
Yeah.
If someone went to Stanford, I would be... to me, Stanford is like the goal.
Yeah.
To me, it is a sports school. Mm-hmm. It's a campus school. It is a
Ivy League, right?
Ivy League school. It is, to me, that jumps off a resume. That is something is worth whatever the money you put into Stanford, I think is worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be a little, I hate being contentious with this
stuff. I don't think you're being
and
contentious.
I don't want to I appreciate the complaints and stuff.
But I'll find
there's a little, it's a bit douchey.
I agree. Well, to me, the douchey part is downing Stanford, where they're saying you don't know what it's. You're bragging about something that you would hate, and it's like, no, Stanford. To me, like, there's 5 schools in the country that I think are worth the money.
Right, but it's also
and Stanford's at the top of that list.
But it's also like, to me, it's like it's a little similar to the kind of douchey thing where it's like, I paid off my college loans, so you should have to pay off your college loans too. You got to keep your eyes on your own paper, and if there's scam people or fraud people, you just it shouldn't concern you.
Let me find. Here's the thing.
I mean, okay to say that? I feel bad.
No, but I'm
sure you're not a douche.
I'm going to find. I think I have an example that you will agree with.
It's going to be a comedy thing?
A comedy thing.
Yeah.
So when someone posts on Instagram, them performing at the Cellar,
and
they don't perform in the Cellar. They took a class to get that picture. And then someone comes up to you and says, oh, do you know my friend? They work at the Cellar too. And then because they took a class there once, and that getting into the cellar was a big deal to you, I'm sure, and was a big, and there's a certain leveling of in and not in. I think that's similar to their complaint.
It is, and this is going to upset you because it's like, you're like, are you just saying this to win this argument? And I'm not.
This doesn't upset you.
No. What I'm about to say.
Okay.
Exactly. That doesn't upset me.
Doesn't at all. That doesn't annoy you?
I feel sad for those people.
Okay, but it does produce an emotion.
Produces emotion.
Yeah.
But to me, someone lying about going to college, to me, I feel pity. I don't feel anger.
Interesting.
And so if someone's like just at the cellar for a thing, it's like, and I know this is shitty because I have trust me, most of my feelings are not virtuous. But
I don't think this is a virtuous. I think
virtuous.
I think having a feeling with it is as a little bit of an agreement.
Yes,
at all.
I definitely have a feeling. I definitely do it. If someone's just like,
I would feel sad too.
I would feel sad. I wouldn't be like, oh, you know what it is? Here's what it is. I don't feel. I have struggles with pride. I don't really feel very proudful about things I've done. It's a self.
So you're not proud of yourself for work. So to the listeners at home, again, this is not a comedy inside baseball podcast. And I think we were getting over some facts. But in comedy, if you work at a comedy club, there was a process. You were auditioning, you've been suggested. There is a little bit of
I know. I don't feel. I don't know. I have this.
I'm not saying I'm I'm an accomplished person because I do comedy at the cellar.
Pretty sure I got past at the cellar because I have a Hebrew name.
That's the only. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that doesn't matter.
No,
that matters.
But I don't think that's true.
But you do well there. You do. You have great sets, and I've watched you. You're very funny, and there is, there's no promotions in stand-up comedy.
I know.
And people, when you tell them you're a comedian, we know that people get offended.
Yeah.
When you say I'm a comedian, they go, well, tell me a joke, and they go, well, what does that mean?
Right,
and not everyone, but some people.
Just do my whole hour.
You do the hour. It's on YouTube. You can watch it. Right.
They're like, tell me, Joe. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming. So my name's Ron. I just go right into it.
But I mean, let me give a different example. I used to sell life insurance. Life insurance is retail finance. It's not high-end finance.
Yes.
It is not. But you could very well say I work in finance. And that's a different story being told.
I feel bad for you. That's a sad story.
That is
a sad short story.
Right.
A man who tells people
they work in finance when
but
they
really
sell life insurance.
It's
but that's a whole industry. They call themselves financial advisors. And you go, and the one thing they want to sell is life insurance because that makes them the most money. It's an interesting. I'm saying this happens all the time.
I don't get jealous of things where someone's being super inauthentic because, and I'm not trying to be I feel like this is an annoying but because I just feel like A, it's a short-term grift.
Right.
It comes back to haunt you.
Yes.
And B, with the seller picture, you're just kind of doing something. That is going to go away.
I'm not saying I live, wake up at night thinking of these people, but
so for the Stanford thing, I'd just be like, I just think that shit, that it's a short-term con, so I wouldn't be upset.
Right.
I'd just be like, that's probably not going to work out for you. You know what I mean? It's just it's a short-term.
I don't think it's a jealousy thing either. I think it's more of or
not jealousy.
I think it's
he's not jealous. He's
just
he has that urge where he wants everyone to play by the rules he played by.
Right.
But and I get that,
and
I get that, but
right.
it's somewhat a conservative viewpoint. I think a lot, not that he's conservative, but it's like a Republican talking point sometimes. I play by these rules, you should play by these
bootstraps.
Too. Yeah,
but
here's the thing. I don't buy into this bootstrap shit. I think luck plays so much a bigger part in things that people want to admit, and not just luck of the random luck to be raised in a way where you have the capacity to get into a good college. The way you're raised,
right.
How you're raised is so much luck.
Stanford doesn't just is very few rags to riches. There's way more riches to riches tales at Stanford than there are rags to riches tales.
And
at
I don't
Stanford.
think you should be ashamed. And maybe this is a fuck up for me because I don't feel pride. I try to feel gratitude. I think it's better than pride.
I think you should feel pride.
I think pride, well, it is a sin.
Is it a sin?
Well, no, I think gratitude
in the luxury lounge, you can feel pride.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
But if you're grateful that you got into Stanford.
Yeah.
And you're grateful you went there. I mean, he's clearly not grateful because he hates it. But if you're grateful, you wouldn't be upset when someone lies. If I'm grateful I'm at the cellar, I wouldn't be upset. But when you're prideful that you're at something, it's an ego thing. And your pride is essentially, in my opinion, the illusion that there was other things helping besides, just triumph of the will. Triumph of the will is an illusion. Like it's never just you. There's so much help in your past, history.
Well, I guess it wouldn't triumph of the will. Wouldn't that be a grateful thing? That like, look at that.
No, that's like I did it no matter, even though it was all against me. I did it all on my own. You're taking pride in your own personal accomplishments, but there is no real, just you alone independently getting something.
But I think there's also a lot of this in the internet world.
Yeah.
It's very easy to put up the facade of I'm doing it.
Yes.
And we see that on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
Or I did a TED Talk.
I hate it, but I hate it. Yeah.
I did a TED Talk and people go, congratulations.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you, to me, I'm like, that's doing the TED Talk isn't the accomplishment.
Yeah.
To me.
If it's good, yeah.
If it's good, right. Is it good? Did it get out there? Did people watch it? Did they share it?
Yeah.
Did it produce anything for where I'm trying to go?
Yes.
That is, but I understand.
And I do think feeling that kind of pride is probably, I'm probably being a hypocrite now because there are moments where I'm like, I'm putting out a special and,
right.
Obviously there's things where I'm like, I could have done that better. But overall, I'm like, I'm proud. I'm like watching, I go, this is good the whole way through. And that's a hard thing to do.
Right.
Most comedy gets boring after, 20 minutes.
A tight 10.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's a hard thing to do. To make it good the whole time. So I do feel a little pride sometimes. So I guess I am being hypocritical, but I don't think you should feel enough pride where you get insulted. Because then at a certain point, it's like...
Well, to me, you it's okay to be proud of the special that you put out and go on a podcast and go, you should watch it.
Yeah, I have issues. I confuse confidence with arrogance, and I have a lot of self-hatred issues. You know what I mean?
That's okay. Well, that's why we can look, at this person.
But
and say,
I still think you should just put your eyes on your own paper and not care if someone else is lying. Because at the end of the day, it's not. Yeah, there's rules, and you follow them, and they didn't. But you didn't follow those rules just because you wanted everyone else to follow them. You should follow those rules because. To me, it's a lack of pride. Actually,
right?
It's the fact that
they've shown a lack of pride in Stanford. I'm sitting here when someone says they went to Stanford.
Yeah,
I go, holy shit.
Yeah,
everyone, shut up.
Yeah,
I want to hear this person.
Yeah,
and they're not having enough ownership of that.
And maybe it's that insecurity that makes them annoyed when maybe if they had more pride. Maybe they wouldn't feel the need. I went to Stanford, it's a good college, and that person didn't get that experience. You know what I mean? I think this person lacks gratitude, though. That's the thing. If you have gratitude, if I'm grateful I'm at the cellar, and someone's lying, I'm like, well, I'm sorry they don't have that experience. If he's grateful he went to Stanford, he should be sad that someone didn't have that experience. But he lacks gratitude. And I think in the place of gratitude, he has pride.
I guess you make assumptions. I'm thinking of myself now because we've gone down a depthy part of the swimming pool where there's no kids here. No, but I think about myself and I'm like, when I see the person posting, I know what they're doing. So I know the type of person. I'm looking 7 times. It's not even the picture. I don't give a fuck about the picture. You're like, oh, fuck. Like, does this person think they're doing it?
Yeah.
And then you go, it is a sad moment because you go, oh, fuck, they're like wasting some time and energy to convince people instead of like going and writing a joke.
There's an emptiness in inauthenticity. You worry. When someone's being inauthentic, you're like, oh, they're not focused on the craft.
Right. And I get mad sometimes.
And that's a short-term...
Right.
That is short term. It's actually not smart. I mean, like people are like, oh, that's going to succeed.
It's not.
It does fall apart when you're not working on the craft and you're thinking in an inauthentic way. That does not have a long
I guess sometimes
term.
I get in this thing, and I think that this is, if I was to empathize with this person, you go, do you think I'm an idiot?
Yeah.
right. Like that's where I kind of see eye to eye with this person because when it comes to like the certificates, people used to do that. When they sold life insurance, they would they would say they would have Harvard. There were Harvard certificates you could go buy basically, and a lot of people did that, and they would have it on a business card. And then when you learned about it, you go, oh man, I guess I'll never fall for that one. But I can't believe they think this is going to work forever.
Right.
Like how much smarter than me do you think you are?
Yes,
That's where I get annoyed.
Yes, but I do, and there is an annoyance there. But then I do also think like, I guess I think when you're lying, there is this lack of happiness and contentment within.
Oh my God.
And I feel bad for that. I feel bad. I'm like, oh, I mean, this isn't going to work out well for you.
Right.
You're going down
apart.
You're going down the wrong path because you're not having confidence from within or self-validation.
I think that takes age too to realize. I think
the older you get, you realize like it's harder to get jealous because you realize like life sucks for most people.
Right. And on that note, Ranaan, thank you for coming on. Everyone go follow Ranaan. Go watch the special. He's fantastic. You're gonna love him at Ranaan Comedy. Ranaan Hershberg. Go. It's on YouTube. September 14th. What's it called?
Jokes from the Underground.
Jokes from the Underground. It was taped at the Cellar, but he has no pride in that.
I have gratitude.
Gratitude.
I have gratitude.
It's a great special. You're going to love it. Go follow at Ranaan Comedy. I'm Jared Freid. We're here every Thursday in the lounge. Keep sending your emails. What a fantastic discussion that we got into. We've gone all over the map.
As someone who, I went to Stanford.
Yes.
It means a lot.
Yeah, you got to tell me where I can get that certificate. I'm Jared Freid, at Jared Freid. We'll be back next episode.